Welcome back to the 24th annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival right here in Nevada City, Grass Valley, California. I'm your host for this segment, Kimberly Ewing, and we are delighted with what is happening here. We're stationed at the Nevada City Winery, and it's been a great day of films, inspiration, motivation, and just humanity reinvigorated. And I'm delighted to be here with, we've got Kyle Gunther. He's the producer of the Rewilders. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We were talking off the air. This is your first for the Wild and Scenic, so welcome to the Wild and Scenic.
Yeah, it's not only my first time at the Wild and Scenic, this is my first film that I've ever actually made.
Seriously? Well, kudos to you, because I have to say it's an impressive film.
Thank you.
It's a feature. It's feature length almost, right?
It's considered feature length for this festival.
But it's a remarkable, it's an amazing film that keeps you on your toes the whole time.
We were fortunate with the partners. We were able to get committed to the cause, and hopefully we did some justice in the storytelling behind each of their initiatives.
Well, and rewilding, I think for the audience, maybe tell us a little bit about what rewilding means.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we really wanted to do with this film, was to bring rewilding as a concept to the forefront of a general viewing audience. People that may not have understood, in principle, like the trends behind, the concept. Rewilding, simply put, is to take a ecosystem, be it terrestrial or aquatic. You start to remove some of the influences or impediments that humans have introduced, such as concrete, fence posts, and the like. And you reintroduce some of the native species, plant and animal alike. And you allow nature to kind of nurture itself. So you allow nature to bring itself back to the past.
We kind of just have to get out of the way.
We just need to step out of the way in many instances, yeah.
Well, and the movement of where you were globally in the movie was fantastic. I think you started in Chile and Argentina with the Jaguars. Tell us a little bit, if we haven't seen the Rewilders, let's talk about that part.
Sure.
Of the
So the Rewilders, our initial idea was essentially to create a 5-part series or a feature-length film of approximately 80, 90 minutes, and to showcase some top rewilding examples across the planet. We were fortunate enough to grab Tompkins Conservation as a partner. They have 2 offshoot organizations in Chile and Argentina. They've rewilded 27 species, of which one of them is jaguars. But it's taken them a 15-year period, really, to get to a point where they've been able to breed in captivity some of these jaguars and release them to the wild. And at present, they now have 35 in the wild.
That is incredible. And like you said, it took them 15 years. There's such a history of what they've been doing for that part of the world. It was amazing. And just to see jaguars blossoming in their population just feels so heartfelt and brought me some hope when I was an audience member of it.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's really interesting about Tompkins, in and of itself, what they've done is amazing. Chris Tompkins and her former husband, they acquired up to 15 million acres of land, established 15 national parks, and then re-gifted these parks to the governments of Chile and Argentina. Their work of rewilding continues today, but part of that is a transcontinental push to establish migration corridors for the animals, including the jaguars. So they have a new initiative called the Jaguars River Initiative, where in fact 4 countries are in fact allowing for this migration corridor to be established and supported.
And that's what I remembered from the movie. She said, we don't want this to just be in the national parks.
No.
We want it to move into the continent as a whole.
Yeah, she's really into a transcontinental push, and it's phenomenal what they've been able to achieve.
That was really moving for me. And then we move into South Africa with the elephants. Tell us a little bit about that part of the film.
Yeah, so the elephants is it's a story of a family that has taken it upon themselves to purchase what was dilapidated agricultural farmland, and they took over this land and worked with scientists and ecologists to define a path for rewilding of the Karoo desert. The Tompkins family, unrelated to Tompkins
I know.
Conservation.
I was
which
like,
is
they can't be the same.
interesting. Yeah, so they, as a family, they took this farmland. They started rewilding the plant species that were necessary on the land itself, and they started to rewild not only elephants, but they rewilded cheetahs, they've rewilded lions, they've rewilded black rhinos. So they are bringing back animals that hadn't existed there for over 100 years.
And if I understand correctly, it was like they took elephants where they were kind of overpopulated and then pulled a family. They would never take them just alone. They took them with the family of the elephants and rewilded them and relocated them to then sort of solve two problems at once.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think many of these conservation organizations are doing is they want to ensure that the genetic diversity continues and is sustainable. So in the case of this example in Africa, what they were able to achieve is by bringing in new elephants, they translocated them from Addo National Park, which is an elephant reserve, and they moved them approximately 250 kilometers north to this new reserve, and then they are introducing them to yet another herd that is on the reserve site.
And I saw that, they were monitoring them, making sure there was no stress of the relocation. It seemed like they were pretty happy.
Yeah, I think that in all these cases, the animals are quite happy.
Yeah, they just get a lot more land and a lot more space for their
Sure.
family to flourish. Well, Kyle, why did you do this as a producer? What makes you do this? I know making a film is no easy feat. So what is it? What is it for you?
No easy feat is a good way to define it. It's as a producer, I'm not typically from a film background. My wife is. She was approached about this project by Mark Angelo, who is an esteemed river conservationist. I'm sure he knows of a lot of things that are happening with Circle here in Nevada City. But he approached my wife and I about this project. My wife said, I don't really have the bandwidth to do this. So, I think Kyle can help in identifying the stories and really driving ahead the project. So I've always been passionate about environmental causes and whatnot. And as Mark was one of our key protagonists and key stories, he had some ideas as to where he thought the film could go. But he granted us the leeway to go out and find the stories that, in fact, we were passionate about.
Well, it's an amazing film. I am so delighted. Will you maybe make another one?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that. It's our intention was always a feature-length film and/or a documentary series. We're repositioning the film at present to either sell as is. We'd love to be able to license this onto a streamer or with a broadcaster.
Sure.
But we're also starting to think about whether or not we might be able to reconstruct this as a multi-part series, so a 5-part series, 5 voices, 5 continents, and see if there's appetite for that amongst some of the streamers.
Well, the movie is called The Rewilders, and we've got the producer, Kyle Gunther, here. Any last words that you want to share out to this community? We so thank you for being here.
No, I mean, I'm so appreciative of the invitation to the festival. It's, we've been invited to a dozen thus far. We've participated and screened, but this one, it's really special. So I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the invitation, and dare to rewild.
Okay, well, thank you. Let's give it up for Kyle from the Rewilders. And quick note too, when did you guys show during the festival?
We screened this morning at 10 o'clock, and I think...
How was it?
It was great, yeah. It was
well received, I'm sure.
Well received.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you out on the festival.
Okay, perfect.
All right. We're here at the Wild and Scenic. We'll be right back with the next guest.